All right, continuing our caliber war on rifle calibers. We're going to talk about probably one of the most popular calibers in the United States today. And that's the 30-06. I like the 30-06. Who doesn't? I mean, it's definitely a very versatile cartridge. I like it quite a bit. But the 30-06 wasn't the original 30 caliber Springfield. We can't talk about 30-06 without talking about its predecessor, the 30-03. The 30-03 was 30 caliber bullet adopted in 1903. Right, used a 45 grain charge of smokeless powder under a 220 grain round nose bullet, and that round nose bullet was its holdup. All right, it stepped down about 2,300 feet per second. So this is not a bad cartridge, but it wasn't a Spitzer, which means it's not as it's like the pointed shape with the boat tail, right? Which was coming into vogue at the time, and I mean, it's still common today for a reason. So it wouldn't do what some of its competitors would do at range because the bullet wasn't nearly as aerodynamic. So in 1906, the cartridge was changed to the 30-06 we all know and love. Right? When it was originally adopted, right? It was still fairly heavy, the 220 grain. I mean, but that wasn't going to work because everybody else that we were dealing with went to a lighter weight Spitzer pointed bullet, right? 30-03 had to go. What ends up coming out was a 150 grain bullet, all right, and it stepped out at about 2,700 feet per second. And the 30-06, I mean, you can find all kinds of loads for it today. What do you want? I mean, 180 grain core lock at 2,700, 150 grain Nosler at 2,910, 200 grain Nosler partition, 2569, 220 grain round nose like the old 30-03 at 2500. I mean, the 30-06 it's just an awesome cartridge. But there's one thing to keep in mind with the 30-06. You can get commercially loaded 30-06 that is a bit too hot for probably the most popular rifle chambered for it, and that would be the M1 Garand. Because of that, a lot of commercial manufacturers will typically load some of their lighter ammunition, I shouldn't say lighter, but lower cost ammunition to Garand specifications, which because of the long operating rod, it doesn't do well with really high pressure cartridges compared to some other rifles out there. But so you can get 30-06s running from mild to wild. Hell, at one point Remington was doing a Sabo cartridge for them. I mean, like it used a 22 caliber bullet in a Sabo, and I think they called it like the Velocitor or something like that. Extremely fast. But the 30-06 is one of those cartridges, you can't really study cartridges without talking about it, because everybody talks about the 45. Well, it won 2 world wars. Well, the pistol never saw much use, but the rifle did. So if any cartridge won 2 world wars, it was the 30-06.